From folks who are in the back, please come sit in the front. I'm not bite you, so don't worry. We will start the program in about 5 minutes. I know you will have so many meetings after this, dinner, go around Hanoi, so let's make in time. Thank you. Okay, let's start. As you know in the agenda that now our topic is really important and not as it's just similar important with others issues, but now it's really in context right now. We're talking about the climate change and how it relates with our issues in animal issues. So I will start with the words that being inclusive. Our work should be more inclusive right now. We cannot work in silos. We cannot work as this is my area, that's yours. I'm not deal with you. I don't have any relations with you. So inclusivity is our keyword in this late afternoon. It's really important. So why are we talking about the inclusivity? As you know, in some report that released by World Animal Protection in 2003 that say that factory farms has great contributions to the climate change. So it was emitting about 90% of the global emissions came from the agriculture sector, mostly from the factory farms. Factory farms, make it that bold. And now, 2024, the new research is quite surprisingly, I just Googled it actually. Now it's 14.5% of the world total emissions. So what's the meaning of all of this? The meaning is that the factory farms, our issues is really have interconnected and have a strong relations with climate change. And climate change is real. Now we have two great speakers from Samayu Foundations that will talking about how this relations climate change into environment and into into health sectors. And as I think you already recognize the word of One Health issues, and that how we will talk in this late evening, climate change, factory farms, and how it's affected our daily lives. It's maybe surprise, it's maybe not, but let's find out and start with our first speakers, Miss Namrata Das from Samayu. Okay, clap. Thank you. Okay, please. Yeah, you can do that. Okay, Miss Namrata is on. Yeah,
Hello.
over to you. Thank you.
Hello.
The floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. I'm Namrata from Samayu, and my topic is why animal advocates should care about climate change, pollution, and public health. So, Samayu is an organization based out of India, and we have been working on exploring the interconnectedness between animals, planet, and people. And we have been working on building an intersectional movement, which will basically sorry, I think if you move a bit, the sound goes. Yeah, so we've been working on exploring these interconnected natures and really leveraging issues of environmental sustainability, pollution, public health discourses, and collaborating with our government stakeholders into leveraging these issues from their perspective and bringing about changes in and reforms in animal farm and in animal policies. So, as we all know that animal agriculture is a big contributor in issues of climate change, biodiversity loss, pollution, zoonotic diseases. They are all linked to animal agriculture, and as animal advocates, we must also understand that the priorities of local policymakers, especially in context of countries as India, uh, it comes from a lens of environmental sustainability, public health, and if we can leverage these issues, we will be able to engage with our policymakers in a manner which can really bring about changes in animal welfare policies as well. And we have found at Samayu that it has become critical to connect the dots between these issues and achieve holistic welfare. To broaden our impact, we have to really to broaden our impact, we have found that it is important to connect these issues and really leverage the lens from the perspective of our policymakers and move towards a more sustainable and plant-based food system. So if I have to talk about Samayu's approach to farmed animal welfare advocacy in India, we are mainly working on a diet change program, which is called Food and You 2.0, and the crux of our work is focused on building an intersectional movement, connecting various non-animal NGOs, government stakeholders, academicians, policymakers, researchers, and more into a single unified platform. And we also work by collecting evidence-based data so that our policy reforms are focused on ground realities and they can be really used to push for policies which will be focused on compassionate farming practices. So if I have to talk about our diet change program, it is Food and You 2.0. So basically, Food and You 2.0 is geared towards school and college students in India, and the way we work is by partnering with local NGOs. So we have really built a grassroots movement where we have been able to connect with 50 local NGOs across 16 Indian states, and these NGOs are really intersectional in nature because they work in different issues such as environmental sustainability, solid waste management, uh, public health issues, rural development, and we have been able to really mobilize them in a single platform, and we have been able to spread our advocacy efforts into a more diverse audience who has previously not engaged with this messaging of plant-based living. So we have been really able to tap into a more diverse ecosystem through the help and support of our partner organizations. We have been able to develop our ICT materials in 8 Indian languages, Indian vernacular languages, because in India, every state more or less has its own language. So we've been able to develop our materials in 8 Indian languages. Through our grassroots initiatives, in 2.5 years, we have been able to reach 80,000, an audience of 80,000 plus. We recently also started an initiative which is known as Plant Power Days. We launched this in June of this year, and we have been already collaborating with 8 schools in 3 different states in India who have signed commitments with us to make their campus completely free of animal products 1 day a week. And we have been able to impact 72,000 and provide 72,000 plant-based meals over the course of a year. So this has been recently launched and we are working on this right now. We also do various institutional menu change. So we also did a tasting session at the Supreme Court of India, which is the apex body in India for apex legal body in India. And we also have a series of monthly potlucks, again through our partner organization. So we have been conducting potlucks across 8 cities, engaging an audience of 1,700 people till date. This was our offline engagement. So we also have an online portion of our campaign. Our online campaign, through our online campaign, we run various interesting challenges such as 21-day dairy-free challenge, weight off your plate campaigns. So basically, we have a comprehensive follow-up system which helps the audience and guides their plant-based journey. They receive a series of engaging newsletters across a month to guide their journey. We offer exclusive coupons from vegan brands for our audience. We host challenges on our social media platforms. We offer complete vegan hampers to our winners. We also organize online webinars called Ask Me Anything sessions, where vegan nutritionists, chefs, fitness enthusiasts, and other people come and interact with our audience. We also are beginning a WhatsApp community to engage our audience. We also provide our audience free consultations with nutritionists. So we have basically collaborated with nutritionists as well. Those who take up the pledge can book their free consultation session with nutritionists and basically help guide their journey. So this is about our diet change program, which is Food in You 2.0. So as we can clearly see that when we advocate for plant-based diets, we can, of course, like I mentioned, the messaging of our Food in You 2.0 is also, we try to look at it from an intersectional lens that the food we consume not only has an impact on somebody's health, but also has a broader impact on environment. And we can always choose to have a more ethical and kinder option. So this is basically what we try to advocate for through our Food in You campaign. Moving on to our animal advocacy work, so we leverage the One Health initiative for our animal advocacy work, and we are pushing for systemic changes because we have really seen that when we link the issues of environmental crisis and zoonotic risks, because like I mentioned, these are the topics which are of priority interest for policymakers in India, and if we can leverage and these issues from their perspective, we have been able to push for systemic changes which can really support our food system reforms. And we also work by gathering evidence-backed data on animal farming practices from on ground and use that data to influence our policy changes and basically influence compassionate farming practices. The way a glimpse of our work is that we have collaborated with two government institutions, two governments in India, which is government of Andhra Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh, and we have been working to influence policy reforms that has a potential of benefiting around 125 million birds and 517.5 million inland farming fishes. We are also working on building a robust ecosystem with the support of academicians, researchers, government, technical people from government background, so that we can really push for compassionate farming practices, because we believe that when you make the movement intersectional and more inclusive in nature, we'll be able to have a broader impact. And we also work on some key areas of fish welfare. That is, we work on disease monitoring, assessing water quality such as TDS, BOD, pH metrics, and also certain compassionate farming practices. This is in the fish welfare work, the details of which will be covered in the next talk by my colleague. Also, we have, based on our work, we have been able to publish 3 high-quality journal papers in peer-reviewed journals. And we have really seen that, like I mentioned, we do a lot of baseline surveys and focus group discussion meetings with farmers to identify the systemic problems and the sectoral problems, because different areas in India have different sectoral issues. So we try to identify those issues, and we try to leverage the One Health policies which already exist in the state, and we try to leverage those policies and really push for reforms that will be grounded in reality and that will be able to really push for compassionate farming practices. We do a lot of technical and capacity building workshops with our farmers as well. Again, in these workshops, we try to make these workshops also intersectional. We try to involve government stakeholders, policymakers, academicians, researchers, and NGO partners along with our farming community, and we have these sessions where we really leverage the One Health practices and try to give our farmers the tools needed for compassionate farming practices. So that is the work we do with our farming community, and we also do a series of Niti Panchayats, which are basically these small groups policy meetings. These with 15-20 members, we try to involve all the small-scale farmers, government officials, and we try to identify the policy gaps which are already the policy gaps which exist, and because there are several government policies from the perspective of One Health, which can be leveraged and really used to promote compassionate farming practices and bring about reforms. So as we can see that through this intersectional work, we have been really able to engage a diverse ecosystem, create and engage a diverse ecosystem, and we have been really, by pushing and leveraging these issues, we have seen a positive impact. And so I would like to ask everybody to join hands and support us in creating a just, fair world for all. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Big hand. You can. You can hear? Yeah. You can waiting in there. Okay, before I'm going to the next presenters, I just want to say that what Samayu did is not just they want to do that, you know. The International Panel of Climate Change last year's is already acknowledged that the changing of diet can reduce the emissions. So what is being explained is that's really how we can implement those things into our real life. I just want to also highlight why factory farms is really affecting climate change. Because factory farms is emitting not carbon dioxide, but methane. Methane is have a factor about 1 CO2. It's equal, 1 methane is equal with, any idea? How many CO2? 100 CO2. 1 methane, 100 CO2. Can you imagine that? One factory farms equal to how many cars emissions? You can counting. That's how we have to really concerns about these issues. And changing the diet is really help us to really tackle the climate change. It is what we do, you know. That's why we are here. That's why, again, inclusivity is our keyword. Collaborating with others issues, with others group, with others like climate change group, with collaborating with the food system group is really essential for us to leveraging our work. Then I will introduce you to Dr. Debajyoti, please. He's really brilliant. He's the director of policy advocacy of Samayu, and he will be explain and ask about how this thing is being implemented as the case study, and also what is the what we can learn about it. Okay, before that, big hand for Dr. Debajyoti. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, very good afternoon to all of you. I'm Debajyoti Chatterjee, working at Samayu as Director of Programs. So, as my colleague has already shared about what Samayu is working on, so I would like to take you through the story of change that we have recently witnessed in central India through our intervention using One Health approach and intersectionality as the key factors. Yeah, so I think already in our previous talk, we have seen that what are the issues Samayu is working on and what are our key approaches. So we always believe that there are, we have to join the dots between the health nexus of animals, human, and environment. And to do that, intersectionality is one of the biggest way forward. At Samayu, we use the approaches keeping animal welfare at the center. We use the approaches of intersectional outlook, One Health concept, data-driven policy advocacy, environmental safety, and finally farm animal health welfare. So today, I'll be talking about our approach in fish welfare that we have undertaken in central India. So why should we consider environment in this context? Fishes are having their unique aquatic ecosystem, and we know when we ensure welfare for anything, anyone, if we make the environment good for them, the welfare will initiate its own. So for fishes, when we look into the aquatic environmental safety, when we ensure that so fish welfare initiates by its own. And what are the factors that we consider? Like the key limnological parameters of water quality. If we focus on such things, so these are the quite important things to ensure the good fish living. Now, this environmental fish welfare, fish farming, they have a vice versa effect. Similarly, waste management and effluent management in fish farming contributes a lot to environmental pollution and further human health safety and environmental health safety. So they are connected here. Now, how to resolve this question? So we embrace One Health approach, which gives a holistic solution for to bring the entire system reform. Coming to the main part of the story, last year when we had a primary success of implementing One Health in the poultry sector of Andhra Pradesh, that's a southwestern coastal state in India, we thought of expanding our approach towards the other states. With this concept, we studied the ecosystem, this poultry and aquaculture ecosystem of 4 states in India. We conducted an intense study. We produced a state mapping report using various metrics like WFN and all. And finally, we found that the central province, that's Madhya Pradesh, is fit for our intervention because here we have a balance between the consumers and the production. So if we approach such kind of system and ensure sustainability, things will not get worsened. Sorry, very sorry. So to give an idea about this central province, this is a landlocked province in India, located in central region. It's having 0.16 million hectare of water body under inland aquaculture operation, and estimated fish population 92.5 million. That's an estimated figure because we always get the reports in terms of weight, so we had to so we transcribed it to estimated figure. And surprisingly, here we have a unique farming system. Here we mainly get to see the community farming system by specific smallholder communities using the natural reserves and ponds. So what does it mean? When we have a broader and kind of intense ecosystem, intense fish farming system there, the management perspectives are also part of the practice. But when we have such kind of systems where natural reserves are being used and natural resources are being used, we have to be more cautious and conscious. And especially when it's being utilized by the marginal and smallholder farmers, so they have hardly access to the technological and other supports. So with this, we intervened this state. And in our initial survey, what we found, that's really, I would like to share with all of you here. There's a huge systemic gap between the stakeholders. When we reached out to different stakeholders like the government, the farmers, the academia and all, they are functioning in silos, but there is no communication between them. Then coming to the farmers, when we talk to the farmers and try to get an understanding of the status quo of the ecosystem, it really revealed a kind of sad story that the farmers are following the age-old practices wherein they are just focusing on somehow this production part and completely unaware of the other part, that's the health and wellness component of the millions of farm fishes, environment, and their own health safety. More importantly, here, when we surveyed the ponds there in Balaghat district in Madhya Pradesh, there we found the aquatic weed problem is dangerous. And you can see the photos here before our intervention. During the field survey, we have taken these photos where the pond surface is completely stripped by the water hyacinth. Hardly there is surface for the fishes to come up and take some fresh oxygen. So you can see what kind of environment the fishes are getting for living. And when we talked about the fish health data, we received the feedback from the farmers that the fishes are having deformities and there are mass mortality. Now, with this, what next? How to go ahead? Samayu's approach was always intersectionality and participatory action. First, what we did, we formulated a complete project on this. And we have taken the same to the apex government body in the state, conducted a series of meetings with the state capital, with the state heads there in the departments, relevant department, and we obtained letter of permission to conduct this project. Parallelly, we have done background research. We prepared baseline documents for the particular state, assessing the status quo, what are the needs, and also we prepared review papers which we published in journals of repute. You can access our papers through this QR code. And when it comes to the part of ground intervention, first we have conducted a baseline survey and we designed a complete implementation and monitoring program in order to keep it more statistical and more to collect the valid data. We collaborated with Statistics Without Border, a US-based organization, and the local, we have taken up all these things, discussed with local university professors of the relevant department for technical support. Now, first what we have done, in this complete project, we have formulated a project that's having 6 phases. Now we are in the 4th phase, as we have started working here since January this year. So, after the baseline survey, we assessed the need areas, and that we have taken to the academia. We discussed with them, and we identified the concern points, translated them to a complete training module, that what exactly we have to teach the farmers. And that we have taken to the farmers then. In February, we have conducted our first training on One Health, One Welfare approach in Central Province, being participated by 125 intersectional participants, including the government officials, farmers, academia, Pollution Control Board, NGOs, and students. Post that, we have taken these findings of this training program, the outcome, to the farmers, and we sat with them, conducted a series of focus group discussions to know the pathway, how to implement them on ground. And based on the discussion with farmers, and again we went back to the academia, we developed a package of practice in farmers' language. Also, it was developed in 2 languages, in one of our, in English and the regional language. And all this we have done with the help of our academic partners, so that the technical part is taken care. And with the help of that, we then conducted One Health practice camp. In that camp, we taught them the technical parts. We provided the farmer communities, like the farmer cooperatives, with aquaculture testing, water testing kits, basic aquaculture water testing kits, through which they can monitor the water quality of their own pond. And if there is any problem, they can, at that moment, they can reach out to the relevant people, like the academic people or the government authorities there, to prevent mass mortality or any problem to the fishes, any health problem to the fishes. And also, to check the scientific accuracy of this data, we formulated a collaborative project with the local university on this aspect of One Health, One Welfare in fish farming in the region. And that was included as a part of a master's thesis program in the university. Our students are working on that program, and the research is ongoing. We are just towards the end of that program, and I'm acting as a co-guide in that thing. So this is how we are ensuring the technical fitness of the data. And also, the farmers, whenever they're requiring any such technical helps and handholding, we are providing them in this way. For this, we have also a dedicated team in that particular area of intervention. Now, so what was the change that we could bring in this short span? Is there any? Yes, it is visible, both in community level and also on ground. How did we make it? First of all, the problem was there that there is no participatory action, there is no collaboration between the stakeholders. We ensured that. And in this case, especially for weed management, the government, the local government and the state government came forward, joined hand with the farmers, and they have taken up this issue seriously. And this weed management program was launched there, and somehow you can see these pictures in your right side. This is the picture of the same pond after our intervention taken 2 months back. So wherein this pond was cleaned through our rural development program, incorporating this matter as in a government plan, heading to ensure the fish health and welfare. Previously, what they used to do, this farmers, as it's a kind of community farming, so they used to simply release the fish, fingerlings and fries directly to the stocking pond because they didn't have any structured nursery or something. So we ensured that they prepare a special area where before releasing the spawns, fingerlings or fries, they keep them accustomed, and at least the mortality rate of the fries and fingerlings reduce, and the competition for food and other things in that nation will be reduced. So this way, we try to ensure the fish health and other welfare factors as much as we can. And as usual, when we have now interacted with the farmers, there is a reduction in the fish disease and death report, and also the data collection by the farmers are showing positive result. So our intervention is also there beyond the ground. With the collected data, we are doing policy advocacy to bring this change in policy spectrum and make it sustainable and available for all to continue the practice. Here, our asks are clear that we advocate for improving water quality maintenance, we advocate for proper disease and health management and pond management of the pond fishes, and also we advocate for establishing one health cell in state and district level. So how are we doing that? We have already, based on our collected data, we have submitted 6 evidence-based joint representations to various departments of Government of India, asking for ensuring the fish health and welfare within, which is already existing in the policy. So to implement them strictly and to see the reform. We are organizing a series of online and offline policy discourses right from the ground. As you can see, that's already in my previous speaker spoke about Niti Panchayat, that's a policy discussion on ground. We are taking the data from there, and we are placing all these policy asks and needs to the government through our advocacy. And also we are closely following the sectoral policy reforms and trying to push the animal, trying to incorporate the animal welfare components as much as we can through our interventions. And finally, our goal is to uh, continue this intersectional collaboration, coordination, and communication, which is the primary thing in case of One Health implementation. So what's our call to action? That's already we mentioned in our previous topic also, and now once again, let me go through them. So we always want to include the fish welfare aspects in policy change. Along with that, we are establishing that environmental welfare is a key to ensure the fish welfare through our works and all. And finally, while having any such discourse, intersectional discourses, we are ensuring that fish health and welfare is always kept in apex while having such discussions and implementation on ground. So with this, we aspire to achieve a just fair world for animals, people, and planet. Thank you.
So, as you may aware in their presentations that reducing cruelty or reducing suffering is not talking about the animal welfare, but also planet health and human health. That's the One Health approach is coming. And one key point that we learn from the speakers is the we need to have like a transformative actions. It's really needed. That is our key, I think. Well, please using your WOFA apps for sending the questions, or if you prefer to have open mic, directly asking questions to our speakers, please. Okay. So we have actually so we have two questions actually right now. First, how can we effectively raise awareness about zoonotic disease, especially in the light of our recent experience with COVID-19, which originated from animals, and how we do engage people in meaningful conversations about preventing the next pandemic by promoting animal welfare and safer human-animal interactions. With you? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
sure.
Is
So
there,
we can have both of them. Please, over to you.
yeah, so what we have really seen that you have to, while interacting with different groups, you have to really look at the leverage points, which is a priority concern for those groups. So, for example, when we are working with our policymakers, to them, environmental sustainability issues are and public health discourses are of a higher concern. So, we try to leverage discussions based around that. And if you are engaging with researchers, then you have to focus on these environmental aspects and how they can set up the metrics for measuring wellness and really look at it from a research perspective. So you have to basically understand the groups you are working with and try to tailor your discussions based on that. And I would say that environmental concerns are really something which has been on the forefront of a lot of global discussions, whether it is the pandemic treaty, which we're also currently working on. So yeah, I think you have to really tailor your discussions based on the groups we are focused on. And yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you. And
Probably.
Dr. Chabit, it's okay? Well, yeah, I think it's already being answered. And next questions will be what steps to be taken to before designing interventions for climate change is underneath. What steps? I mean, what kind of process that being taken by Samayu for designing these interventions?
So the question is that what steps to be taken to be before designing intervention for climate change? First of all, in my opinion, you have to see the overall need assessment. So the area where you are intervening, you have to have a conduct a need-based need assessment study. Accordingly, with the outcomes you have to take to the intersectional people, the experts from different verticals, and then accordingly you have to chalk out the plan. And for that plan also you have to see when with the implementation strategy, how effective it would be. So what will be the scale? What will the kind of, you can say the pros and cons have to be very well mapped. And yeah, these are the, I think, basic steps that we also followed in our case while talking about our interventions. And also there are effective, this one, outcomes and what impact would you bring? So this short term and long term, what's the goal? So these are, if you have answers to all these questions, I think this will be easy for you to frame out the intervention for climate change. Because climate change is a long-term issue. It's not a short-term issue that we can achieve in 2 or 5 years. We have to work, we have to generate the data, and accordingly we have to take the steps. And in between also, there should be course correction always.
Something to add?
You want to
have
add something?
Add,
Yeah.
add. Oh, okay, good. Well, next questions. How does improving fish welfare help to reduce climate change impact?
Yeah. So, how does improving fish welfare help reducing climate change impact? So before that, we have to see that through unsustainable aquaculture system, what are the damages that we are getting? So once we find out that, then we'll have to see that what are the factors that contribute to that are contributing to fish welfare and also related to environmental welfare. Say for example, this effluent lake ecosystems in one of our states, a very big lake ecosystem is quite dangerously affected by the effluents and other problems of the industry. I must mention that the industry is intensive there. It's not a smallholder or semi-intensive. So, and there also, as you know, in factory farming, always the animal or farmed animal welfare is always a neglected area. So once you once you improve the fish welfare, definitely your water quality and all will be checked. And the components of farm effluents will be now reduced to its less harmful, and now if you manage them, your ecosystem pollution will be reduced. So for example, if you don't use antibiotic in your farming system, if you ban antibiotics, then definitely the effluents will not be able to add such harmful components in the environment. And also, when we see the land degradation for this aquaculture practice, intensive aquaculture practices, when the lands are reclaimed, so likewise we can save natural resources, and that will contribute to the welfare of collectively it will affect climate change positively. When we conserve kind of you can say forest ecosystem, and also we don't reclaim the ground, we don't reclaim the crop fields, so likewise it will be contributing positively towards climate change. Anything would like to add?
Yeah, you want to add something?
I would like to add that as we saw in our work in Balaghat, like simply removing the weeds covering the inland farmed ponds, we have been significantly able to improve the lives of fishes there. So we have been able to introduce compassionate farming practices. So I would say that it is improving the for fishes, improving the environment in which they survive significantly improves their life, and we can significantly promote compassionate farming practices by ensuring a sustainable ecosystem for them.
Okay, good. Thank you. Then this is really interesting questions, and also this is also my questions. What made you decide to elevate fish welfare rather than cattle, pigs, or poultry?
Actually, to answer this question, we are having parallel intervention in poultry and fishes. So we started with poultry welfare, and the work is still ongoing in two states in India. In Andhra Pradesh, that's a south eastern coastal state, and in Madhya Pradesh, that's a central province where we are also just I presented about our fish welfare work. So we are actively working in these two sectors. But related to other sectors, why we chose these two? Because these two sectors are quite neglected in Indian perspective when we look into the factory farming and all. They're having quite intensive factory farming, and the effects are quite detrimental. I know it's not like that the others are not detrimental. Equally, factory farming is always harmful in any and every case. But in our perspective, looking at our strength, our current means we're just 3 years old organization, so we have to first present a proof point to the government. And once we develop a model, then we can accordingly escalate that to the other systems as well according to their requirement. So these were the basic factors which I think for that we decided to take up these two sectors and start our journey. So other sectors are always also in our agenda, and we will also address them eventually as we grow. Thank you.
You want to add something?
Yeah, like Dr. D mentioned, currently our TOC focuses on these issues, and as we evolve and grow, we'll also start incorporating other issues as well of cattle farming and other factory farming.
Okay, so I just want to have additional answer on that. Yeah, so I think Samayu has previous pre-research before they decide to go to the fish welfare issues. And one thing in the other sides of climate change, the fish farm is also contributing certain factors for the carbon emissions, especially when they're using the ammoniacs to open the new ponds. And ammoniac has methane emissions in it. So that's also become one of the problem of the fish welfare, and that's how Samayu trying to improve, to have like a transformative actions, how the farmers is working on their ponds, yeah, so to make it more health, and the using of antibiotics, that one of the suffering factors that happen is reduced, and also that can be contributing to the climate change issue, as I guess. Yeah, okay, thank you. And we have another questions. We have about 10 minutes more, I believe. Yeah, so yes, how were you able to address the hesitation from fish farmers on adapting better welfare practice? Over to you.
Yeah. So when we directed the fish farmers, it was not easy in the very first moment. We had to uh, conduct series of discussions. We had to take them in confidence, and more importantly, we had to give them technical and other supports. Like we provided them the kit, we linked them directly to the experts, and the government involvement, we ensured for them that the already existing schemes and other facilities in government, that is other way ensuring fish welfare, so far it was not known to the farmers. So we opened that avenue for them through which they can access all these policy benefits. And as usual for the farmers, when we are able to make them believe that yes, this is beneficial for you and the fishes as well. So slowly, this way we incline them towards our adapting the best practices. And still it's ongoing. That's why almost every month we sit with them, we discuss, and we try to find out the difficulties the farmers are facing in adapting our welfare practices, which we shared with them in the form of package of practice. And we take these issues to the government and academics for technical and implementation help. So these are the ways that we are trying to reduce the hesitation of the farmers as much as we can to adapt the best practices.
Okay, you want to add more? Okay, just one additional from that point, that as you can see in the presentations, that Samayu approach is engage with the community. That's the key. That's the answer. How we can reduce the frictional, reduce the challenge from the community itself, is when you involve the communities in the project. It's bring a transparency, it's bring a collaborations. That's how the program is really done well. Okay, last questions. I'm not sure it's related, but what to do with invasive species?
Yeah. Invasive species are a problem everywhere, especially in inland aquaculture. With what we witnessed in the field, when the farmers procure seeds of fishes, sometimes through that invasive species come. Sometimes for better profit, the farmers neglect the locally available species and go for these things. So here awareness is the first thing. Second thing, tightening the policy matters from the government's perspective, that what are the harmful aspects of invasive species? What harm could they do if they are released in local our natural environment? So all these things have to be taken up and have to be discussed with the farmers, and we have to generate the awareness among them. And also to promote, I'm not in favor of promoting any sort of animal agriculture. I must make it clear here. But at least in order to stop this, we need to, there are steps. So in order to stop the factory farming, maybe this could be a step that we first promote the locally available species, and then slowly we shift the farmers towards alternative livelihood. So that's also in our plate, but I think that's our long-term goal. So one day we will achieve that. I'm confident.
Good. You want to add something?
I would like to say that for invasive species, definitely change has to come from policy level, and we have to work on awareness as well, because invasive species also really harms the local biodiversity as well, because there are lots of natural reservoirs also where like farming is taking place. So that really harms the local biodiversity, and as a result of which we are losing valuable species which have important ecological roles. So yeah, we must have some interventions from policy level, and we will start to incorporate that in our work.
And thank you. So I'd like to just add one more example here. In cage system, sometimes in riverine system, there are invasive species, this foreign species culture practices there. But sometimes if the cage breaks out, then it will be a blunder to the riverine ecosystem. And there will be a loss of many native biodiversity. So these are certain things we have to elucidate and make the farmers understand, and the policymakers should tighten their policy in this case. A good monitoring system and action on ground. So these are the way forwards. Thank you.
Good answer. Thank you. So I have another questions, but I will answer these questions. Does smoking impacts climate and environment and increase carbon footprints? Okay, I will answer this. The fact, the fact, smoking is causing is impacted to your personal health and your surrounding people. That's the fact. My answer is that please reduce it, Don't do that. We need you. Yeah. We don't want to lose you. Okay? Yeah. That's my answer. We need many animals advocates is being present, fighting with us together. We don't want to lose you because of too many cigarettes. Yeah. So that's my my answer. Okay. Thank you. So big hand to our panelists. So doctor, you know, I'm dedicated this talk. So I wear a shirt. It's a fish here. It's a fish batiks here because I know that
Yeah.
it's talking about fish. Oh, thank you for your participations and see you around. Thank you.
Thank you all. And thanks a lot, truly, sir, for
Yeah, thank
sharing
you.
stage with us.
Yeah,
It's a big honor for us.
yeah, sure.
Thank you.